Welcome to podcast number 59, the Side Hustle Podcast, Amazon Influencer Podcast, whatever you want to call it. We got Mike again. So Jim Ed is on Thanksgiving break. We did promise you we're going to do an interview with someone. And unfortunately, I was sick earlier this week. I'll blame myself. I was sick actually last week when we usually do our podcast, and we weren't able to do it. Jim Ed wanted me to be in that podcast. I think it was probably he just didn't want to deal with it if I wasn't going to be on there. Actually, it's probably the truth is. But he wanted me to be part of that podcast. So he's out on Thanksgiving break. And of course, we are talking about Mike being a lot more involved with our podcast. So it's Mike and I again. Next week, we're going to do the interview with the person that we wanted to interview. So actually, in 2 weeks, we'll do that. And then Mike and I will probably be on those in the future. And Jim Ed will be in and out. I hope you guys aren't completely confused by all that. Does that make sense to you, Mike?
Makes sense to me, man. I'll tell you what we could do too. We haven't done the Facebook Live in a little bit, so let's hop back on that maybe next week after Black Friday, and we can get some people on there. We could talk about numbers, see how everybody's weekend went, and see how excited or distressed everybody is. How's that sound?
Yeah, it sounds great. And guys, you missed the live. The live is actually all of our lives will actually be in the guide section. There's a little guide tab on our Facebook group. If you're not in our Facebook group, just type in Side Hustle Heroes on Facebook or Amazon Influencers. I always say Side Hustle Heroes. That's what our name is really of our team, Side Hustle Heroes. That's typically what we're using, but it will come up a lot easier on Facebook on that. Yeah, so go there, join our group. We do lives. We have a lot of conversations about what's going on. So you're going to be missing out if you're not in our group. It's free, guys. Why wouldn't you join our group unless you completely hate Facebook?
Did you mention it was free? It's free, right?
It's free. And guess what? I don't love Facebook, a lot of aspects of Facebook, but I do love the group aspect. So guys, the groups is probably the best thing about Facebook, in my opinion. There's nothing like it. Yes, I know you got your, what do you call those? I don't know. There's other places that have, why am I drawing a blank?
Like your Discords, the kind of places, like your forums?
There's Discord, and there's the other one that's been a lot out there for a while. But Facebook, social media, like Instagram, TikTok, they don't have anything like this to my knowledge. Their Facebook groups are amazing, and you're getting cutting edge knowledge. And really, any sort of course you're buying is going to be a lot of times dated, although our course is awesome. I'm just saying, but in general, you have up-to-date information. Like things, for instance, I just got an email about Instagram. So that's the thing too. Probably talk about Instagram a little bit, like, Instagram Reels. Now you can tag Amazon. I don't know if you guys saw that. Amazon post on that. So now you can actually have people click through directly to the product. So things like that. We're talking about the latest things. AIP is very dynamic. So we'll be talking about these things. We got a lot to talk about, guys, today. So we're going to talk about our numbers as usual. And then we're going to talk about how are things been going in general. We usually do that for a little while. Mike's going to give an update on Creator Connections. He's been doing really well with that. I've been doing a lot with getting products from China, more selective, but I'm getting a lot of products still. Mike's kind of scaling back a little bit from that. He's not really doing getting as much stuff from China. I'll explain that as well. And then also I'm going to give my Airbnb update. My buddy and I did an Airbnb. When I say did one, we were there for 3 or 4 hours doing some reviews, give you more details about that as well. And if we have time, we'll talk about Instagram, but that's probably going to be for another podcast because Mike and I are still learning about what that is all about.
Brand new, hot off the press.
Hot off the press, yeah. So I think, guys, this is just what we're talking about. I have gotten some feedback that we've been on our podcast. Maybe we started out being very positive, and then lately we've been pretty negative about things. And so I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I hope that we can't please everybody, but I hope you guys understand that we're just being candid about things. Okay, so when we're not feeling great about things, we're not going to say everything's going great. There's some times we get on there, and Jim Ed and I have been discouraged. And Mike, perhaps you've been as well. You've been on here more recently, and you've had some really good days. But that's just being honest. When I listened to my last podcast, and I was like, I was negative, but then I heard that, but this is why you shouldn't do AIP. So we usually have the half cup. The cup is half full usually with us. There's always going to be a silver lining, guys. And so if you're not hearing the silver lining in every podcast, then I'm sorry. But we really try to always say, this is not going great. However, that means there's an opportunity to do more of this or more of that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So Mike, you're an avid listener of our podcast. I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but what is your sense on that? What is your sense on how to keep things positive, but also real and candid?
Well, here's the thing. Since day one, that's why I've hooked with you guys. I've been since day one when you guys first got started. Is you didn't try to oversell anything, and I think over time we've learned there's been ups, there's been downs. This time last year, September, October, I was still brand new, but there were downs at that point in time. So this is a roller coaster. It's not all going to be rainbows and unicorns, guys. I'd much rather be candid, like you just said, tell the truth. Now, we try not to be overly negative. We don't want to talk people out of this program, but you got to take the ups and the downs. We just keep pushing through. I know I saw a couple people get make comments on the group as well about the incentive that just happened, and
Yeah, yeah.
people all but gave up. And they were, don't get me wrong, I didn't do the incentive, but I'd have been distraught too if I put that kind of work into it and didn't get a
Yep.
payback out of it. And they owned up and they made it right. It's the same thing they did last year. They did the same exact thing on the incentive, and
Mhm.
people got paid more. So yes, it could be discouraging. I understand this is a long game. You're still making money.
Yeah.
You've got to make the personal decision as to whether the outcome coming out of the based on the effort you're putting in is worth it to you or not.
Right.
It's hard to put an hourly rate on this thing. You're just the hours, you have to really keep track of your time to know what you're
Yeah.
making per hour. But
Yeah.
not all of us are in the same position. For some reason, I'm having really good luck. I still don't know why. I don't feel like I'm anybody special. And you're going to find out here in just a second. My numbers are actually pretty good right now, and I'm pretty happy with myself. I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but that's something we could talk about in the group, guys. We could compare what I'm doing, compare what you're doing, figure out if I am doing something right, and then we could try different things.
Someone say this. One of the inventors, Thomas Edison or someone like that, said, "It seems like people who have the most luck are the ones who really work hard." So it's yeah, you work hard, you seemingly have more luck. You've been working really hard, dude. You put a lot of time and effort into your videos, and so I'm not surprised that you are having good days. I'm not surprised that your conversion rates are well above average. So, Mike, you're doing a good job on this. So,
I
I would
appreciate that.
not say you're lucky. It's not luck.
Appreciate
You
that.
know, so I think it's just yeah, you're taking time and effort to choose good products, and you're spending time to do your reviews the right way. So I think that's a lot of it. Think about put yourself in the like in the as if a customer is watching your video. Pretend you are the customer or a
Yep.
potential customer is about to buy a product. If you can put yourself in their shoes, that's the word I was looking for, like that phrase. Put yourself in their shoes, you'll do so much better. What are they looking for right now? What information do they need to make an informed buying decision? I bet you think about that, Mike, when you're doing your videos.
I
You're
do.
thinking about, and you know about this product too. You're not like,
Mhm.
hey, here's this thing I just unboxed. Sometimes you are unboxing something for the first
Right.
time. And I do that sometimes. Hey, I'm unboxing. I think this is it. And later on, I say, hey, this is what it really is. But they want you to do unboxing. But the point is, you know about these products. You're going to inform them. By the time someone watches a video, and I hope I'm doing the same thing as well. I'm just saying, but I know you do extraordinary job at this, making sure that you're covering all of everything from A to Z, so they can make an informed decision and know a lot more about the product. And in most cases, they're already leaning towards buying it, and you're usually probably going to put them over the top to say, oh wow, with this information, I can definitely use this product now. I'll love this product.
I guess looking back at, I guess reviewing myself, I do a
Yeah,
lot of demo, and
yeah,
I got a pair of work gloves in the other day that were free sample, and I needed
yeah,
gloves, so
yeah.
I don't just take them out of the bag and do the review. I took them to work with me for 2 or 3 days. I want to see what those gloves did. So my
Right.
review explains what I liked about the gloves and what I might have hated if they would have done certain things that perform certain ways. Versus here's a pair of gloves, they're leather, they have padding, they fit. I mean, what you got to give more information than that. So if you're not closing the sale at the end, and to where that person has, without a shadow of doubt, this is what they want, and they don't need to watch the next video, then that's where you're missing out on your conversion rate, I think. So
That's it. Close the sale. Oh, by the way, go Gators. This is my
go
Florida Gators.
Gators.
This shirt looks a little tattered up. It is. It's just I wanted to wear this sort of throwback shirt I've had for a while. The Gators had some two big victories. So those who follow college football, hopefully you'll know the Gators. Like they beat LSU. They knocked them out of the playoff spot, and they beat Ole Miss. Not to say I'm happy they knocked them out, but it's good that the Gators are actually starting to get good again. They're getting some momentum again. It's been a rough season, so I have this little thing behind me as well, above me. It's hard to point backwards like that. Thing above me here, my Gators. My wife just said too. It's oh, you're proud of them now because they won twice. What were you early in the season? Fair
Uh,
enough. I was frustrated.
bandwagon fan.
Yeah, but no. Here's the thing: you can't say that, Mike, because I grew up. I was raised in Gainesville. I went to the University of Florida. I bleed orange and blue, so it wouldn't be bandwagon. It's just a little bit temperamental sometimes.
Fair weather, is that a better term?
Yeah, you get mad at sometimes you get mad at somebody because
Oh,
they piss
I
you
know
off,
it.
but you still love them. I love my
I
Gators.
hear
Anyway,
you.
so let's get
Numbers.
almost
Let's do some numbers.
all right.
All
Let's
right.
do
See,
your numbers, buddy. And let's do the best. Let's save the worst for last. So let's do
the
yours
worst for
first.
last. All right. So let's see what we
Yeah.
got here. I pulled them up here. There they are. Today's Monday. We're shooting this on the 25th. So my numbers for Sunday, I guess, coming into Monday, $165 for the day. Last seven, I'm sitting about 1,020. Month to date for November, I'm right at 2,600. And then last 30, I'm trending about 3,000, 3,010, somewhere in that range. And then
Nice.
here's the one we're going to talk about this a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a little hint. Creator Connections. I'm at 1350 for the month.
Very good.
So that's stellar. So we'll talk about that. And then we got a couple other numbers we'll hop in there too. I'll do as we go. But go ahead and tell your numbers from now, and then we'll jump into the rest.
Yeah, and I've got 475 videos up, by the way, guys. And so you have
700.
seven. Did you already say that? Sorry, 700.
No, I did
Yeah.
not.
Okay. You told me earlier, but nah, for the
Yep.
podcast.
For
Oh,
the
also,
podcast.
we want to do video for our podcast, but the last one wasn't video. This one's going to be audio again. I'm having a hard time with the podcast platform for some reason. They're blocking my IP address, but they don't. They believe it. The support's trying to help me. They can't figure out why I can't log into the site. Maybe Mike, you need to start logging into or something like that. Who knows? But it's just ridiculous. It'd be interesting. Can you log into my account? I bet you could. I can't log into it for some reason. I'm a
Hmm.
Spotify customer, but something weird is going on. So we'll have to do the audio podcast. Sorry, guys, but most of you guys don't care anyway. Do you really
Yeah.
want to look at our faces? Probably
Not
not.
really. Not much to
Not
look at.
yeah. But if you want to see our faces, go to TikTok. That's where we have our little shorts. Okay. Yeah.
And
There you
plug.
go. Okay, so my numbers have been way better, and I've been working really hard, getting at least probably 10 to 15 reviews a week, it feels. So that's been going up. I've been talking about this. I've been doing this all pretty much the last 3 months. Been working really hard. James Brown, my buddy, and I have been working really hard. And so I was like, hey, we better see an uptick in our commissions, and I definitely have, and it feels good. But yesterday took a little bit of a drop down again for some reason, but it was $19. But last seven is 302. Last 30 is 757. Okay, so getting kind of a way higher than it was in prior podcasts. This month so far, 675. Last month was 537 to give you perspective. So I'm already surpassed last month by over $100. Should get to at this pace. We got about 5 or 6 days left.
Mhm.
Assuming I get about $100, $20 days at modest. That's a modest projection. 20. It should have close to $800 by the end of this month. So again, I love to have 2 or 3 thousand, but I'm happy with $800. Career connections haven't been done much with that lately. I'm probably at a $20 or $30 on that one. I did hit over 100 on some couple past months, but it hasn't been great. I haven't been working it. I haven't been working very hard, Mike. So I think based on your success, I'm gonna get back to it. Sorry, guys, I'm a little congested, slightly congested because I've been fighting something over the last week or so. So forgive me if my voice sounds weird or it sounds sniffly. Um, so yeah, so overall, I'm pretty stoked about things. So what else? Yeah, let's talk a little bit about yeah. Oh yeah, why do we think things are going better this month? I think Mike, start with you. What's your theory for why things are going well? Other than the obvious, it's Black Friday, but Black Friday week. But what about this carousel thing? I think we've noticed this. We've talked about this on our internal groups where
Yeah.
now you have on the carousel on desktop at least the very first video on the carousel is
Mhm.
huge. It's like
Mhm.
skyscraper. I think that's the word. The
Yeah.
skyscraper. It's big. And then the rest of the videos, instead of being arranged like horizontally, it's actually
Mhm.
arranged vertically. I think that
Yeah.
has a lot to do with it, especially if you're in the number one position. That's my theory. Is that's what's driving some of my sales for sure. But what do you think, Mike? Do you
No,
agree with that?
I'd agree. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Number they're not taking it away, putting it back on, and doing all that like they were as well. That I've
Yeah.
noticed. There for
Yeah.
was August. It was awful. It was come and go every single day. What you were seeing, I wasn't seeing. So it
Right.
just make it real hard. So the upper carousels, they're not quite there on every single item. I'm noticing they're 50-50 right now. But that I guess you call it mid carousel now. Like
Yeah.
it's not really even
Yeah.
lower anymore. I like
Yeah.
it because it's closer to the top now. I
Right.
think more people are going to know where to look for it now. Having some consistency. It's like when they change the aisles up at the grocery store and you go looking for bread and it's 4 aisles over. Just
Right.
it's annoying being able to find things where you know they're going to be at. It's going to help our clicks. It's going to help our videos be seen, which I think is helping our numbers as well. And then obviously, like we could pretty much compare this to last year, to be honest. The incentive, for whatever reason, during incentives, they just kill the program
Oh
for everybody.
yeah. Yeah. That's right.
The incentives done. That's all done and over with. November started off slow for me. I think by the 9th or 10th, I was starting to ramp up. And then, man, the last 14 days they've been pretty good. I've really been impressed. I'm already trending better than I was last year. I'm not over last year's numbers yet, but my averages are above last year. So I should,
Yeah.
last year I was $4,000, I think is what I hit in November. And I should be every bit of 4,500 to 5 this year is what it's looking like.
Yeah. And it's weird. You'd think that you'd be higher, but things have changed still. Things
Oh,
have
yeah.
changed. All things holding everything equal, you have a lot more videos this year than you did last year, but that's the way things are. But the fact that you're even equal now is great because a lot of us have been way lower than we were last year. Let me ask you this: mobile. I don't see a lot of the videos on mobile anymore, though. It's weird. I haven't looked lately, but whenever I try to find the videos, I'm like they're just gone a lot of times. And
They're there.
are you seeing the
There's
same
no
thing?
uppers. There's no uppers. I don't ever see uppers on mobile, but
Yeah,
they're all in that videos tab about halfway down is where I've been seeing them.
you're
And
still seeing that.
Pretty
Okay.
consistent, yeah. Every time I go looking for something, that they're there. I've been trying to watch videos, give people credit as I've been buying things as well. That's something else too, guys. Man,
Yeah, yeah,
give
yeah.
people a gift. It's Christmas time. We're all in this together. Make sure you're
That's
watching
nice.
videos before you buy something. Give somebody credit for something. Let them get paid. Don't just buy the item without watching the video, I guess is what I'm saying. It's a free gift to somebody. It doesn't cost you anything. And we're all doing the same thing. Want somebody to watch our video at the same time. But yeah, I think that's where we're at, man. It's carousel seem to be pretty consistent. And I think that's helping us out quite a bit. And I think you've had a lot of people wanting to get items bought early. So we've got those people starting to buy now. I think that's what we're seeing. And then you got some tire kickers as well. And that's why I think clicks are up. And I think, which we're going to, I guess we can go ahead and dive into conversion rates now. Sounds like a
Yeah.
lot of you guys have conversion rates that are maybe a little on the lower side, or maybe you don't even know what a good conversion rate is yet. So I think a lot of us, we have different opinions and numbers, but if you're in the 5% range, that number's low. You need to get that number up. We need to figure out why your number's low, why you're not closing sales.
Yeah,
Typically,
five
go ahead.
percent is the bare minimum of where you want to be. If you're below it, and unfortunately, there's been people that are below it, like 1 or 2%. If you're at 1 or 2% conversion rate, that's bad. I'm looking at the year so far. I didn't mean to cut you off, sorry, but
Oh,
the
you're good.
year so far, actually, I don't know if you can pull that while you were talking. I'm
Yeah.
at 8.7% conversion rate for the year, so pretty decent. It looks like let's just look at last month. So I know there's a lot of numbers here, guys, but I'll give you my this year, and then I'll give you last month, and I'll give you this month, just to those 3 data points, okay? And then you guys who are listening, you can just take notes if you want to, or just whatever, listen to it again, just rewind it. But I'm at 8.7% this year. Let me look at last month here. Last month I was at 7.96, so pretty close to 8% for the most part. And then, but this month it's been, maybe it's just going to catch up. Probably it's 5%. Okay, so it's 5%. I think partly because we have so many clicks right now, so many tire kickers, probably for Black Friday, and maybe the items still haven't been shipped out also. So that might be a little reason for the low conversion rate for this month. You're down a little bit anyway. So 5%, pretty much around 7-8%, and then 5% this month. Mike,
And then
numbers.
I'm running higher. So for the year, I'm sitting right at 13% for the year.
Okay.
For last month, last month I was 12.2.
Okay.
And then for this month, I'm 11.25.
Okay. So you're seeing the same the same sort of going down this month, which makes
Mm.
sense. But yeah, your numbers are really good, and I've asked around too, and I've seen the average that just talking with different people is somewhere around where I've been 7, 8, 5, 6, 7%. Actually, 6 to 8% is what I've been hearing from people. So if you're below that, you need to take a look at your video. And so it's look at this as a funnel. Okay. So the first thing you want to do, you want to get people to click your video, right? You want to get people to watch your video in the first place. How do you do that? A good headline, probably a pretty good thumbnail. What do I mean by thumbnail? Like the picture. You want to make sure people know what the heck that you're reviewing. Obviously, they're on a product page most of the time. So they know that I want to buy a camera. Oh, I see someone holding a camera. But in general, it's still, you want to get their attention with that. The headline needs to get them into the video. And this is common sense, guys. But if you have a great video and no one's ever watching it, what good is it? You can have the best video in the world, but if your headline's like, look how great this product is, or even worse, and I used to do this, unfortunately, it was taught by somebody. My review of X product. Wow, that's nice. And in the early days, it still got clicks, but shame on me. Somewhere on the way, I realized you want to get people to click your video, get them
Yeah.
intrigued. Two things that you can have a big impact on, and those things can make a huge, drastic difference in the funnel. Okay, we talk about funnels. If you're not funnel, you might be like a funnel. Like, what are you talking about for drinking? No, it's not.
Mm.
Or a funnel for chemistry? No, it's e-commerce funnel. Okay, so if you're into e-commerce, you know exactly what the funnel is. But it's just you got to get people in the funnel, and it starts wide where people are coming and hitting your website, whatever. In this case, they're hitting the Amazon product listing most of the time, and then they're scrolling down. You want to get them to if they want to watch a video, you want to get them to watch your video. How do you get them to watch a video? We talked about this already. Have a compelling headline, have a good thumbnail. Great. So you get them in there, they watch your video, and then you want to get them to convert. Okay. So in this case, maybe Mike has a little bit higher clicks into his video than I do, perhaps. Maybe they're staying. Yeah. So let's say he does. So he's going to get a little bit more, he'll have a lot more people in the funnel than me. Okay. Now, if obviously you have a lot more videos, you will, but just holding everything equal. Say I have 100 videos, he has 100 videos. If he has a higher percent that click on the video, obviously he's already ahead of me. So say he has whatever 20 people clicking in, I've got 10. Then then he has a higher conversion rate than me, then he's going to have then that's even going to be another sticking point. So at the end of the day, he could have 20, 30, 40 more sales than me or even higher just because of those two metrics. So guys, if you don't know your metrics, I'd say memorize these metrics, watch these metrics. You can move these things for sure. You can get these things up and looking to see if you don't necessarily always know what your competitors are doing. But I would say, Mike, we don't usually share our storefronts, but you know, look at other influencers. Okay, look at other influencers who are on the carousels a lot. I'm gonna probably tell you that they're actually doing a good job. Probably, if they're on a lot of different listings, it's probably because they're doing really well. Watch their videos, watch and see what they're doing. How can you learn from them? So always be learning from others around you. And Mike, you were saying this earlier today. You're trying to learn about TikTok. Did
Yeah.
you? How did you learn about TikTok? It sounds like you're going directly to some TikTok, following some accounts. You're
Mhm.
looking to see what they're doing. That's how you do it, guys.
Yep.
You watch other people, you see who's doing things the right way. You also see some things that people are doing the wrong way, and you don't do that. But the metrics are out there. TikTok was different because they actually show you how many views. I wish Amazon would show us. They don't show us any other people's views, unfortunately. You can't really learn, right? So someone can't just go to your storefront and see how many views you got, right? That's not public information.
Right.
But that being said, I'm saying we're giving you some numbers where we are. Look at your numbers and see how they compare. And this is not compared to say, oh, we're better than you or we're worse than you, whatever. But we're just telling you that this is where we are. So hopefully, if your numbers are lower, you can work and get those things up.
So here's the honest, dead honest truth right here. Just being brutally honest. If you're putting in lackadaisical, if you're just being lazy and being
Yeah.
lackadaisical with this, and you're just throwing videos, seeing what sticks, and throwing it against the wall, you cannot be upset that your numbers are low. You cannot.
Right.
But if you're out there studying hard, you're figuring out what's working for people, and you could tell. You can watch these videos like you just said. You can stalk these people on their storefronts when they show up on the same items as you, and you just be honest. Grade their video versus yours. Is theirs
Yeah.
better than yours? Yes, it is. Okay. I need to figure out how to make that video better than that video that they just did. And if you can figure that out and you can get good enough, I think your numbers are going to increase. There's a way to make this better. It's not, if you're down in the weeds, we just got to figure out what part you're not excelling at, and then we can go from there and make that part better. I think your numbers are going to go up from there.
Okay, guys. So yeah, exactly. It's great. So JB is somebody that I talk about him a lot. He's my buddy. I'm not saying I'm better than him or anything like that, but I'm taking him. I am his buddy, and we're working together on this. And so he'll give me some tips as far as, oh, you did this, or you had the barcode in here. I'll say the same thing. So we're working together. I'm trying to help him. He's helping me. That's really important. Okay. So I want to see if I can help him get what are his conversion rates up. He's going to help me. I know I say way too much. He's going to help me with those filler words because to me, when I'm doing edits and I just remove, it's really easy to remove all my ums. But guess what? The video is very like choppy if you do that. I don't know if you've noticed that, Mike. It really
That
sucks. So
my
how
my
about
videos are choppy.
yeah,
That's the one downfall to mine is I cut all that stuff out, but it chops it up. But
yeah.
it's working for me, so I haven't changed it yet.
That's good. Yeah, but if you don't say as much, if I just slow down and
Yes.
with Descript, by the way, it shows you painfully honest. You have 30 ums that we're going to remove for you. I'm like, yikes. Like, I have 30 ums in one video sometimes. I'm like, that's not good. So I just said it right now. You might be like, I didn't hear an It's probably because it's edited out, guys. Okay. But in general, on videos, sometimes like you can't get rid of the ums because you're trying to show a product and it's like really weird because it's like bad
Mhm.
timing. But in general, try to work on not saying so many ums. But I say all this to say, guys, we haven't talked about this very much, and I haven't talked to Mike about this, but we are here to offer coaching. If you are like, look, I want to get better at these things, there are fundamental things that we can look at and we can help you get better at these things. Okay. Mike has his perspective, I have my perspective, but I think the thing is we have a scientific approach to this. Okay. So we really do think about this a lot. I know, Mike, I know you do. I think about this a lot. I'm spending a lot of time on AIP lately. So if you're like, you're trying to get into AIP or you don't even know where to start, or you've been in it for a while, you've got 30 videos up, 50 videos up, and you're only making 20 cents a day, talk to us. Okay. So hit us up. Okay. You can contact us. You got Mike and I we're easy to contact. You just hit us up on Facebook, message us, and we can talk about how our coaching program works. But when I say program, it's like one-on-one coaching. We can help you with that. Okay. So just keep that in mind. That's probably the best way for you to grow. I think there's a course out there that Mike actually contributed to as well. And I think it's really good. And I think it's good, but people learn different ways. But if you just want someone to help you a little more time and attention, that's something that we can definitely do for you. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Just contact us. Don't be afraid to ask us about that. We'd be glad to help. We really are here to help you out.
So creator connections. Let's jump into that real
Yeah, let's
briefly
go
here.
for it, man.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast here, we 1350. That was my number. That's my number so far to date. 6 days to go. So I fully think that's going to be probably pushing 1,800 to 2,000 because I've been doing about not just under $800 a day on there alone. So if you think about that, I'm averaging somewhere between 125 $150 a day on site, but I'm getting another $100 on creator connections. That's crazy for the same videos I'm already filming. So if you guys are sleeping on creator connections, I've been saying this for months. You got to get in there and see what you can get your hands on, even if it's just. I've got 78 campaigns right now that I'm opted into and that I'm using. Only 10 or 15 of those are actually making any money for me. But those 10 or 15, I mean, I'm talking $15, $20 a hit every time I make a sale on some of these items. It adds up fast. So get
Okay,
in there.
so of those 78 campaigns, how many products have you purchased approximately? And then how many are you getting for free? And then I think that's those. I see those two questions first because that's important. Again, people are like,
It is.
"How do you get started?" Well, yeah, how are you doing this? How are you being so successful with
So,
this?
okay. So just scrolling through my campaigns right now out of those 78 or so here, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
count every one of them. I'm probably sitting on 20 to 25 that were things I purchased that just happened to pop in with campaigns. And of those,
Okay.
I've probably got two or three that are good money makers for me. So things I purchased making, I'd say 30 to 40% of that income is from those items I purchased. I've
Okay.
got go ahead.
Well, sorry, I want to follow up on this. Okay, so you bought 25. Talked with you earlier about this, but this is for the podcast. I always forget. Did I ask you about this already? Not the podcast. Okay, but so 25 products. How many did you buy specifically for Career Connections? How many did
None.
you already
They're all
had them?
things I nope. They're all things I needed or
You
I've
had it
actually filmed.
before you ever even saw a campaign for
Mhm.
this.
Some of these I
You,
did
you
videos on a year ago.
Okay, so you didn't realize you didn't even heard of Career Connections a year ago,
No, I
whatever
wasn't
for
even in.
that
No,
matter.
I wasn't even in
Okay,
it.
so you already had these products. It just so happens that they're also on. So that's a great tip, guys. I've only been doing this. I've only been saying which products have I reviewed? Do I have are any of those products on Career Connections? But I guess in your case, you're saying you may have already reviewed it too, obviously. But I'm saying, but there's some cases where you actually hadn't even reviewed it yet, and now you're like,
Yeah.
shoot,
Yep.
it's on.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you might have a great product that's on Creator Connections already that you own and you haven't reviewed it yet. So
Hadn't
guys,
even thought of it yet. Yep.
yeah, keep that in mind. Be browsing through Creator Connections, type in some things. That's great. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's eye opening for me because it just shows that you might not necessarily have to buy something. You may already own that product. Okay, so I think the best way to say that, Mike, is probably I already owned it, and then you
Yep.
maybe bought a handful for Creator Connections. You probably didn't though. It doesn't sound
I
like you
didn't.
bought any.
No, in my
The
case, I
rest
did not. But
you
you,
got for free.
right, exactly. The rest of these things have been samples I've gotten for free, whether they reached out by email or I reached out to them through the messaging system. And then something else that's neat too. So, like right now, they're doing like I don't know if it's a double incentive or what it is, but there are actually
Yeah, yeah,
several items on here that are paying 50% commission rates. And there's Adidas and things like that are popping in here that I don't own any of it. And I highly doubt Adidas is going to give me any samples. So keep that in mind too. But I mean, there's some pretty high paying stuff in here popping in right now for the season. And then I know we've talked about this on the group a couple times now about the tiers, the platinum, the gold, the silver, and the bronze, like which group you're in. For the first time, I'm seeing something that looks like because I'm a top level creator, I'm actually getting a perk. And I just noticed this a couple days ago. So on these campaigns, I'm seeing, and you guys can let me know in the group if you're seeing them or not. If you're platinum, you should. But early access until a certain date. So these campaigns aren't even started yet. They're starting 5, 6, 7, 8 days from now. I've got
yeah.
early access to them. So that gives I can reach out to these people through the messaging system and kind of jump the gun on anybody else that can't see them yet. And maybe I can get those samples in my hands before they can. So that's a nice perk if you're using Creator Connections heavily like I am.
Yeah.
That's the first time that this tiered system is actually benefiting me. So that's a neat deal.
That is neat. Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind for sure. But yeah, that's awesome. Career connections. I think that is one of the downfalls of Amazon influencer, just the on-site part. Conversion, the commissions are low. The commissions are low, but career connections, it really opens that up. So don't sleep on that, guys. If you're and even if you're struggling with you're getting these really low paydays for AIP, maybe the answer is career connections for you. But if I
It's
don't,
definitely not hurt nothing.
yeah,
It's padding my
doesn't hurt.
numbers pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's great. Again, we're getting closer to wrapping this thing up, but I just wanted to mention like the whole thing about the Chinese products. I've been doing that for a while, and what I finally started doing more of is very specifically listing products on eBay, listing stuff on Marketplace. And I've mentioned before that it was hard to sell some of these things. It is hard to sell them, but
Yeah.
once I've actually started really listing and spending time doing that, I've actually started seeing some money coming in, and especially with the furniture has been great. And even things that like some leaf blowers, for instance, just sold one of those yesterday, just shipped it out, $60 for that. Really nice. So it's like, again, not here to brag, just to show it's not very difficult. And some people you don't want to mess around with reselling. I don't know what you guys normally do with products, but a lot of people give them away as gifts, or just they just sit on them, or they just keep them themselves. But a lot of these products, I might keep one of them, but the third or fourth camera I'm getting, I'm selling it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I think it's starting to get to a point where some of the stuff sells immediately. I got some pool sticks. I got them. Actually reviewed them, and I went to a pool at the bar, played with them with did the video, got back, and it took me about a month or two to finally list them. I listed on Facebook Marketplace. About I'd say a day later, I'm already sold to somebody $60, and I probably could have gotten $100 for them.
Did you get paid
So
for
it's
that
really
video too?
do what?
Did you get paid for that video too?
I didn't get paid for the video.
Was selling the item though.
Yeah, and I haven't sold any of the pool sticks on Amazon. So that's one of those things too. If you're only if I would say the pool sticks were a loser if all I looked at was the commission I got from it or how much I got paid for the video. But I feel like I won. I got $60.
Yep.
And I might still sell those also. You know how things work. Sometimes you get no sales. I've got some sales lately of things that I haven't got sales for 6 months.
The
Like
nice thing
I,
is the video stays there forever. So you might sell it a year down the road, you might not. But if
exactly.
that video took you 30 minutes, took you an hour to film, and you made $60, you made $60 an hour.
Yeah,
Not a bad hourly
exactly.
rate. So
Yeah, and I'd say, what I love about these products is they might be priced for $250 on Amazon, but I'm happy to get $100 on Marketplace. And guess
right.
what? Who's also happy to get that? The people who are buying the products. They're getting a brand new, practically brand new. And I even tell them, I opened this box, or I only used it for a quick demonstration. That's it. And then most people, they just see that. They may even read it, but they're just like, they're fine. They're fine with that. And it's true. It's the truth. I don't need to lie. I like to be transparent about things, right? So I'm okay with saying I was given this product in return for a review, right? It's okay to say that. And I was also saying, Mike's a whole nother conversation. Let's talk about the next time we talk. I want to talk a little bit about how you can use that for your benefit. And I have some reasons why. Not only that it's legal to say that, you have to say it according to FTC. Would the FTC ever, is it
Yeah.
FTC?
Federal
Yeah.
Trade
Would
Commission.
they
Yep.
ever bust us for not saying it? Probably not, but there's still an ethical code, I think, that says just say it. Amazon's asking us to do it, just do it. But I think there's probably a way to spin it to where it actually helps you sell more. And I have some theories on this, Mike. We'll talk more about this from our podcast. But I think it doesn't have to be a negative. A lot of times you think, oh, if we say it, no one's going to want to buy this product because then they think they don't really know much about it because I just got it for free. So I'm not really a true customer. And guess what? It hasn't hurt Mike's conversion rates very much, has it? And you
Mm,
say that for all your stuff, don't you?
every
I
single
know you
time.
do.
Yeah. I
I
don't.
know you do. You're a stickler for that. So
Yep.
those people who think it's hurting your conversion rates probably isn't. But Mike's, I could have been at 15% conversion rate, so I didn't say that. Nah, seriously doubt it.
It's
Seriously,
just being authentic, man. That's the
be
biggest
authentic.
thing. You got to come
Yeah,
across sincere. And I probably got some videos I could go back and I'd probably cringe at because I was trying to be too salesy, trying to find yourself. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You're trying to find
right,
your style, what works,
right.
what doesn't work. And I've probably got some videos that are a little car salesman feeling to them, but I think I've found my groove over the last, I don't know, a couple hundred videos, especially. And
Yeah,
I'll tell you I'll tell you the good with the bad. And then, yes, it was given to me, but here's what I think about it. Now, obviously, if it sucks, I'm not going to do the video. We've talked about that
right,
before.
right.
But yeah, and I've only had to actually twice now. I've had to do that. I've come back. I've emailed back said I can't do this video, and they tell me to keep
Yeah.
it. And it is what it is. So
Okay. So you actually said you can't do the review, and they said keep it. Okay.
yeah,
Hey, it's
yeah.
good to
It
be
was they
honest
were
with
cheaper
it.
items. They weren't anything crazy. $30, $40 items if I
Yeah.
remember right. But yeah, I can't do this video. I can't give you a good review on this. And they said, okay, well, thank you. We'll take your feedback and more or less keep the item. I offered to send it back to them, but they didn't want it.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right, guys, we had some other topics I had on there, but the Airbnb and some other stuff, the Instagram stores I was going to mention, we'll do that for another podcast. I think we'll call it a wrap. Great stuff, Mike. Always enjoy getting on the podcast with you. There's some really valuable information, guys. Remember, follow us on Facebook. Join our Facebook group, and if you want to see some clips from our past podcasts or even upcoming ones, usually what we'll do is we'll drop some clips of our podcast before we drop it. You can get the latest clips. Also, you can see some video footage as well, because lately we've been audio, like I mentioned. So if you want to get those benefits, follow our TikTok. I'll drop that in the show notes as well. So guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate our listeners, our watchers. Thank you for those who joined the Facebook group. Thank you for all our supporters. This makes it worth it just going on here and being able to help just a couple people. So we
Yeah,
appreciate you guys.
as we mentioned too, the Thanksgiving coming up, guys. I mean, enjoy this time. If you guys put the work in the last couple months up till now, these next couple of days ought to be really good for you. So sit back, watch those numbers climb. Maybe it won't be as good as you want it to be. I hope it is for you. If you've done the right work, the right items, it should be. But this is what it's been all about. This next week or a couple weeks here, it'll be nice. It'll be fun to watch. It's a cool game. So we mentioned on there, we'll get on this Facebook Live. So we'll get that set up next week. Figure out what day we want to do
Yeah.
that. But I'd love you guys to hop on and let's hear what kind of success you guys had.
Right on, man. All right, Mike. Have a good one. Thanks, everybody.